Well, here we go. Welcome to week 1 of PAST 5101OE, Orientation and Ministerial Formation, Fall 2023. Or, hello again, if you've watched the prelude video from week 0. I'm Arthur Kelly and have the joy of guiding you through this course. I prefer to call it a journey for this semester. By the way, if this is your first time that you're seeing my smiling face, it means you missed the video from week 1. I hope you will stop watching this video right now, shut it down, and go back to week 0 and watch that video first. There's a connection. I am eager to get to know you better and to engage your head and your heart. Exploration of spiritual and ministerial formation. The purpose of week 0 and this first week 1 is to provide you with what I think of as the essential, foundational nature of this course, where it's headed, how we will get there, my role, your role, and key vocabulary that will be used throughout the semester. I trust you will forgive me for a very long opening lecture. This is a complicated course, really, in many ways, and an important one. I want to be as thoughtful about what's going on in it as possible. But first, I think this is important. You may not think so, but humor me. Let me introduce me to you. My name is Arthur Kelly. You may call me Mr. Kelly or Dr. Kelly or Professor Kelly. Who knows, by the end of the semester, you may call me Arthur. This is the first semester of my 5th year of teaching at AU after living and teaching in Portland, Oregon at Anderson University's sister school, Warner Pacific University. I'm a retired but still active learner and teacher stretching back a very long time. I began my teaching career in 1966. As a high school English teacher in Red Bluff, California, Northern California. Since then, in one way or another, I've been a teacher of English, communications, literature, Bible, and the humanities, and spiritual formation. I'm a transplanted Californian who has lived more years in Oregon and Indiana than in California. I graduated from Warner Pacific in 1965 and worked there as a teacher and administrator for 23 years, beginning my career there in 1972. At Warner Pacific, I served as English, Bible, and Humanities professor. I was dean of students and provost. You'll need to look that fancy title up. But always at my heart, whatever I was doing as a teacher. I left Warner Pacific in 1995 and moved to Anderson, Indiana, and worked here for about 15 years in publishing and editorial work for Warner Press, a denominational publishing house here in Anderson, and for Church of God Ministries, the headquarters of the Church of God, which, as you probably know, is the denomination that sponsors AU. I retired from Warner Press a few years ago and returned home to Oregon and to teaching again at Warner Pacific in both the traditional and non-traditional programs. A few years ago, we replanted ourselves in Anderson, and this, as I said, is the beginning of my first semester of my 5th year of teaching Introduction to Speech and Spiritual Formation. I'm married to Judy and have been since 1964. Next Wednesday, or the Wednesday of this week, we will be celebrating our 59th wedding anniversary. We have 3 children, 3 adult grandchildren, and now 5 great-grandchildren. I am a reader, a poet, I'm an ordained minister in the Church of God, Anderson. I love talking about important stuff, which is one of the major reasons I keep teaching. I love teaching. If you haven't gotten that point by now, you're not paying attention. I love learning. I never feel quite as at home as I do when in the classroom, whether it's real, literal, or virtual like this one, with students who also love learning. And I hope that means you. I think the lines between teaching and learning are blurred. So I look forward to learning from you as well. I always have. I will engage you as intelligent and experienced persons who have much to share and much to learn, just as I do. I recently completed a StrengthsFinder survey, which informed me that my signature themes are input. That means I'm inquisitive, or some might say nosy. Empathy means I'm intuitive. Connectedness, I'm a bridge builder. Arranger means I'm a flexible problem solver. And intellection, a $5 word that I think means I like to think. I think those themes do a pretty good job of summing me up. Beyond those, I think of myself as a relational teacher. I do not make distinctions between academic learning and life learning. You will be asked to consider both in this class, and I will formulate my lectures and my responses to you in both of those ways. I genuinely look forward to spending time with you all, and I hope facilitating your pilgrimage wherever it may take you, for whatever reason you're studying at Anderson University. Before I turn to some of the other items for this beginning lecture, let me say this loudly and clearly: study the syllabus. It is posted on Canvas, as is the calendar for the course. It's the official statement of the course, its purpose and activities, as well as information about your responsibilities and the schedule of assignments and due dates. Because this is an online course, I've worked hard to make it as clear as possible. By the way, before I get any further, let me say the best way to get in touch with me and get a quick response from me is use my phone number. It's in the syllabus. That's my personal number. When you call, text me is the best thing. State your name. Include 5101 or 5101OE so that I know who's writing and the context. I really encourage you not to hesitate to ask for clarifications about assignments or readings. Do not hesitate if you find yourself in a bind and are struggling to meet deadlines. Get in touch with me and let's see what we can work out. I am much more interested in you seriously doing the work than just meeting deadlines. By the way, it is really important, to the extent possible, that you stay with the course, moving from week to week on schedule and not get too far ahead. In fact, I prefer you not get ahead at all. There are reasons for the chronology of the course. Each week is planned to address the topics for that week, and you will find at the beginning of each module something titled Plan X, Plan 1 for week 1 plan, something like that. This will guide you each week through the work for that week. Yes, it's connected to the syllabus, and of course there's more information on the syllabus, but the weekly plan will carry you through. This course is divided into 3 major sections. And yes, I'm a Dr. Pepper fan. In the first section, which begins this week, we'll just be getting settled, exploring the terrain, learning the schedule, getting acquainted. In the second week, we begin exploring human agency, the human condition, and human development. It will not be an in-depth study in any of those things. My plan is to teach about our development as human beings engaged in discovering who we are and how we live in the face of what some call the human condition, or others the human predicament, which is the context, I believe, for any understanding of spiritual formation. We will also focus this first section on spiritual formation, also called faith formation. By that I mean how we come to believe what we believe, what is meant by faith formation, and how we learn to live and grow faithfully to our beliefs. Finally, pastoral and communal formation, the second and third divisions of this course. In the second section, we'll focus on you, on your ongoing formation as pastors and ministers, which is similar to, but not the same necessarily as your personal formational journey. They're connected, obviously, but there are some real distinctives that we need to pay attention to. And because you are enrolled in a school of theology and Christian ministry, we'll also focus on the role and responsibilities of leaders in the life of the church. That is the life of a local congregation. And ask, what is that role? What are those responsibilities? And how are they lived out in the communal life of the church? This will be the final division of our work together. And in many ways, it's a bringing together of all that we've explored and considered during the previous weeks. How will we do this? Each week, I'm having trouble getting my manuscript to move. There we go. Each week, we'll begin with a lecture like this one, or a presentation, perhaps a narrated PowerPoint that addresses the particular focus for that week, as outlined in the calendar. This lecture will be recorded as a video, as this one, or in some instances will be delivered as a narrated PowerPoint. One of those is part of this week as well. Nearly every week will include a reading and a response to the reading. I'll explain that reading and response as part of the lecture, and when appropriate, direct you to the prompts for that response that are also available for that particular week on Canvas. My lectures will always be posted to Canvas no later than Saturday night of the preceding week. So technically class begins on Sunday, but I'll give you an early update. My lectures will always be posted to Canvas on Saturday night. So you have plenty of heads-up time to renew and respond, read, review, and respond, the 3 R's. Sometimes there will be an additional video that I think is particularly effective in its treatment or response to the matter under study. So that brings us to this question: what do you do? Well, obviously, follow the directions. Watch the lecture. Follow through the outline as it is stated in the week 1 plan. Then you will respond to that challenge, to the prompts, by and not later than 11:59 on day 3 of the week, that is Wednesdays, which I guess technically starting on Sunday means day 4. Sorry. You will respond no later than 11:59 on day 4 of the week, Wednesdays. You and I will engage with your classmates with a follow-up response to your initial responses by and no later than 11:59 on day 7 of the week, that is the following Sunday. You should post at least 2 substantive follow-up responses to your instructor and your classmates. I want you to know that I look forward to what you have to say, that your thinking, reflection, and experience matter to me, and that I will engage what you say. I may agree. I may encourage you to think more deeply. I may draw connections between what you all are saying or point out different perspectives that are important to know about. I may also push back from time to time and ask you to consider another perspective, all in the name of learning and growing and formation. Now, this is really important. What do I mean by substantive? Your initial response to the prompt should be around 200 to 250 words. Your secondary responses to my responses and to your classmates' responses should be around 100 to 150. And I do really mean I want you to talk to each other, affirm each other, question each other, maybe argue a little bit with each other. It's okay. Substantive posts means something more than word count. A substantive post must advance the conversation. Comments such as "good point" or "I agree" are not considered substantive unless they're followed by additional insights, provide relevant illustrations, or raise additional questions. They should speak thoughtfully with the prompts. Language used may be conversational, but must be professional. Use appropriate spelling, grammar, and punctuation. A key word that you need to pay attention to is the word "because." So when you say "I agree" or "I disagree," it should always be followed by "because." An explanation is important. I do want to say something now up front and central to this course. We are focusing on Christian spiritual formation, faith formation, Christian faith formation. By that I mean the course focuses on the deepening of one's relationship with the Christian Trinitarian God. Note that qualifier Christian. Spiritual formation is not unique to Christianity. All religions address formation. If you were to do so, you'd discover online articles on Buddhist spiritual formation, Islamic spiritual formation, or Hindu. In this particular context, Anderson University and its mission, we will focus on Christian formation and the history, understandings, and teachings of Jesus and his church. Discipleship, which is often used synonymously with formation, is, I think, more specific and directly related to this course. Discipleship is a focus on the maturing of one's faith in the context of the particular beliefs and values of a Christian faith community. It often focuses on the individual and his or her relationship with God and beliefs about God. But in Christian formation in particular, there is no private faith. It is personal and communal. Well, I have reached the end of what I intended for today, except to call your attention to your assignment for this week. This is an invitation to begin a practice that is absolutely essential in the world of spiritual formation, and that is personal reflection. Much of this course is simply, and not so simply, an invitation to do what we seldom take the opportunity to do: reflect on our lives. More is said about this essential practice in the narrated PowerPoint on spiritual reflection, which you should watch before you submit your first entries. The reflection assignment will not only initiate you to this vital practice, but it will also have the effect of us all getting better acquainted. For the most part, I don't know you. Some of you may know each other or know of each other. Some of you may have known no one in this class. Some of you may have been in classes together already. We need to get acquainted. I need to get acquainted. So once you've finished listening to me, go to the assignment titled "Let Me Introduce Me to You." Follow the directions and post your responses. following the directions I've given here and which are also on Canvas. By the way, you can also find posted there my own response to the assignment. Enough. More than enough, you're probably thinking. I'm excited to begin the journey. I hope you are as well. Blessings and traveling mercies.